Legacy Chapter 34, Sound 4 Middle of Fire Country. The Sound 4 were dashing through the fire country at top speed carrying a very large barrel. Sasuke was trapped inside the barrel as he was advancing his curse seal to the next level. Pushing the curse seal into progressing to level 2 puts a lot of strain into the user's body, so Sasuke was inside the barrel, which slows down the seal progression. By slowing it down, it allows the seal to advance safely. "We are being tracked by a team of 5 Konoha shinobi," Kidamaru said as a small spider stood calmly in his hand as if talking to him. "Can we outrun them?" Jirobo asked. "No. We are carrying the barrel and they are gaining on us. I estimate 1 hour until they catch up," Kidamaru explained. "Why don't we just stop and kill the bastards?" Tayuya yelled, but Kidamaru shook his head. "We stand no chance. Among them is Senju Naruto, the Konoha no Raijin, Konoha's thunder god, an S-rank shinobi. He's the blonde brat from the invasion, the one who broke into the barrier and crippled Orochimaru-sama. And then there is Hyuga Hinata, the Sure no Megami, death goddess, an A-rank shinobi," Kidamaru stated as they all cursed their luck. They might be strong, but even they weren't a match for Orochimaru, much less one who can go toe-to-toe against him and come out the winner. And to top it all off, there is an elite jounin among them. "Just great," Tayuya sarcastically said. "How the fuck do you even know all that?" Tayuya asked. "If you read the bingo book you would know," Kidamaru stated. "After all, we placed them there." "So what do we now, shithead?" Tayuya asked. "Language, Tayuya," Sakan said, shaking his head. "They are going to catch up to us. We need backup if we are going to complete our mission." "I'm sending word to Orochimaru-sama," Kidamaru said, and sent one of his spiders who sank underground. "In the meantime, set up traps to slow them down," Kidamaru said, and they all nodded. If Sasuke would just awake from his coma, they could easily outrun them, but carrying the heavy barrel was slowing them down. Few hours earlier, Konoha, 5 a.m. It was a bright new day in Konoha and, be the warm feeling already radiating in the air, it was going to be another beautiful day. The sun was coming up, shining upon Konoha. The wind was rustling, birds were chirping, and we already could see a few people walking around the streets. It was the beginning of a fresh new day in the Leaf Village. Ever since the Uchiha clan massacre, the patrols of Konoha fell to the Anbu jurisdiction. The usual setup for an patrol team was a Inuzuka and Hyuga for tracking, and usually there would be a member from the Nara clan and, to top it all off, a powerhouse in ninjutsu. This setup allowed for the team to track and detect any problems and, if need be, restrain or kill the enemy. Currently we find a fresh new team doing their morning patrol. They were jumping from rooftop to rooftop, keeping a discreet profile. The Inuzuka member signaled their team to stop when he noticed a weird smell. "Something wrong, Boar?" the snake-masked Anbu asked. "I have picked up an odd smell. It smells highly of carbon," the boar-masked Anbu replied, and the snake Anbu made signal for their team to follow the Inuzuka to the location of said smell. In less than a minute the Anbu team reached the origin of the smell. They all jumped down from the roofs and landed on the ground. They followed Boar and they came across a bunch of ashes. The Inuzuka sniffed the ashes and his eyes widened. "These are not ordinary ashes, this was someone," Boar said. "It's obvious that it was some kind of cover-up. We must report this to the Hokage," Snake said, and they disappeared in a blur, leaving a member to guard the site. Senju Compound. For the first time since last night the Senju Compound was peaceful. Naruto was sleeping next to his princess. Tsunade and Jiraiya were quiet this night, as far as Naruto knew. But like everything else, there is always an end. "Naruto, Hinata," a loud and cranky voice echoed through the whole compound. Naruto jolted out of bed with Hinata on tow. He turned to look around, adjusting to the new light, and noticed Tsunade by the door. "Get your asses out of bed and meet me at my office in 5 minutes," Tsunade yelled, and Naruto grumbled at Tsunade not getting enough last night. "She gave us couple days off and yanks us out of bed at 10 in the morning, Naruto muttered since he didn't get much sleep the previous night, due to Tsunade's activities. "Be nice, Naruto-kun. If she called it must be important," Hinata said, pecking his cheek and going into the bathroom. Naruto just sighed and sent Shadow Clone to prepare them a quick breakfast while they got dressed. Not even 5 minutes later both Naruto and Hinata were ready to leave. Naruto placed an arm around Hinata, pulling her closer, much to her delight, and swirled away toward the Hokage's office. They had been wondering what all the fuss was about, but, if they knew what expected them, they would have stayed in bed. Hokage's office. "What the hell is that?" Kiba blurted out towards the incoming Hokage. Tsunade had activated her space bridge in her office so she could wake up Naruto and Hinata. Tsunade had literally walked through a wall. "Just something Naruto-chan set up so I didn't have to walk all the way to the Senju compound and back," Tsunade explained and took a seat. Next to her was Hiruzen. In front of her were almost all of the rookies. The Sand siblings were away on a mission, as was Team 9 with Guy, so in front of her were Shikamaru, Ino, Chuji, Kiba. Both Sakura and Sasuke were nowhere to be found. "Naruto-chan?" Kiba asked, laughing. "Where is little Naruto-chan?" Kiba asked, laughing, while the others snickered. "You have a problem with my little Naruto-chan?" Tsunade asked in a dangerous tone. "En no Hokage-sama," Kiba quickly replied, bowing. Around 5 minutes later Naruto and Hinata appeared in a swirl in the middle of the office. Tsunade was already used to it, but the others still found it surprising to see Naruto use this type of techniques. Space-time techniques was a field so unexplored that it was extremely rare to see one, with the exception of the summoning technique, of course. So, Naruto started, "What's the all fuss about?" Naruto asked to his fellow rookies. "We don't know either," Kiba replied. "Naruto-chan," Kiba said in a mocking voice. Naruto turned to glare at his grandmother, who shrugged him off. "Listen up," Tsunade said, gathering the attention of the rookies. Every one of the rookies was summoned except for Sasuke, who wasn't at his compound and couldn't be found. Tsunade started. "I have some bad news. Sakura is dead," Tsunade said, and everything went silent. No one of the rookies said anything, as they were just staring at their Hokage and processing what they heard. What?" Kiba asked in a weak voice. Apparently Kiba was the first to break from the trance. "I'm sorry, but it's true. Sakura was murdered last night," Tsunade said, and everyone was shocked that one of his classmates had died, and was assassinated in the first place. "No," Ino said, sobbing, "that can't be true. Who would hurt her?" Ino asked, crying, tears flowing from her eyes as she clutched to someone nearby who happened to be Hinata. "We don't know," Tsunade started. "This might be difficult to hear, but she was found as nothing more than ashes. We compared the remaining DNA material across the hospital database and it came positive to Haruno Sakura." "I'm sorry," Tsunade said sadly. Sakura had been working hard at the hospital and she was showing promise as a good medic, but it seemed that her life had been cut short. The reactions were varied, but everyone was sad to see a classmate dead. Kiba frowned. Akamaru was whining, but only Ino was openly crying. It wasn't much of a shocker. After all, Sakura was Ino's best friend. They had known each other for years and have been best friends and rivals since they were little girls. "Who did it?" Kiba asked, with his anger surfacing. "The one that killed Sakura would pay dearly." "We don't know," Tsunade said, turning to Naruto, who raised an eyebrow. "That's why I called you, Naruto. Can you turn it back to yesterday and do something about it?" Tsunade asked. "Sorry, but the max I ever did was 12 seconds, not even close to half a day," Naruto said, shaking his head. Then there is no choice, Tsunade said and picked a small vial and threw at Naruto. What is this? Naruto asked while looking carefully at the vial. It was a small blood sample. Is this for? Naruto asked and Tsunade only nodded. Naruto looked back to his friends and to Ino, who was almost catatonic. Do you think they can handle it? Naruto asked. We have no choice. Do it, Tsunade said and Naruto nodded. Everyone stand back, Naruto said and pulled a large scroll before starting to write kanji in it. What are you doing? Kiba asked confused. What had blood to do with Sakura's murder in the first place? He's going to bring her back temporarily so she can tell us who killed her, Hinata explained and everyone's jaw dropped while Ino was little bit happy she could say goodbye. Just how powerful are you? Kiba thought looking at Naruto concentrating on writing the kanji perfectly. Shadow clone jutsu, Naruto said and formed a single clone who went and got seated in a circle in the middle of the scroll. Naruto dropped a few drops of Sakura's blood to the scroll and started going through hand seals. Tiger, snake, dog, dragon and clapped his hands. Kuchios, Edo Tensei, impure world resurrection, Naruto said and around the clone leaf started to crawl up in his body engulfing him completely. Slowly Naruto's clone started taking the form of Sakura. Her long pink dress formed, then Naruto's blonde hair turned into pink, his deep blue eyes became green ones. In just a couple of seconds Haruno Sakura was back from the pure world and into this world. Where am I? Sakura groggily asked before she reminded of the events that lead to her death. Sasuke, Sakura yelled and everyone had their eyes widened. I guess that answered the question, Naruto sadly said. Sakura, Tsunade said making her focus on her. Tell us what happened. Tsunade and Sakura nodded slowly. Sure, Sakura said and gathered her thoughts. I was walking through the village last night and was already dark so everything was quiet. I was going home when Sasuke and I crossed paths. He had a backpack on his back and he was going towards the gates. He was leaving the village, Sakura said and everyone was surprised minus Naruto who had always thought that it would end up with that. I tried to convince him to stay but he didn't listen, Sakura replied sobbing. He suddenly appeared behind me and slit my throat, Sakura explained and they all gasped at the brutality. I don't know why he did it. We were starting to get close, Sakura explained and Ino quickly ran towards her and hugged her. It would be the last time they would all be together. Could it be? Naruto thought before he turned to Kiba. Kiba, were Sasuke and Sakura close? Naruto asked. What has that got to do with this? Kiba asked confused. Answer the damn question, Naruto demanded and Kiba quickly nodded. I noticed a few things, Kiba started. He would help her with her training. He answered some questions instead of replying, and a couple other small things, Kiba explained and Naruto frowned. Shit, Naruto said rubbing his temples. I told you that this would happen, Naruto said turning to the Sandaime who sighed. Why you know why he did it? Sakura asked and Naruto nodded. He killed you so he could advance his eyes to the next level, Naruto explained but got confused faces from almost everyone. What you know about the Sharingan is very scarce. You all think that the last level is the 3-tomoed one but that's a lie, Naruto started. There is another level above the normal Sharingan. It's called Manjikyu Sharingan and it provides the user with fearsome abilities both in Genjutsu and Ninjutsu. Look at mine, Naruto said and showed everyone his eternal Manjikyu Sharingan. They were dumbfounded, they never knew that there was another stage to the Sharingan. Now to simplify things picture it this way. There are two sides to the Uchiha clan. From the Uchiha's main line, like me, this level is achieved by hard work, training or life and death situations. However, for the branch line of the Uchihas, like Sasuke, they have to kill someone they care about to unlock it, Naruto explained and once again everyone was shell-shocked. Sasuke needed to kill someone close to his heart to achieve the next level. When they feel the pain and regret of killing that special someone, it triggers a reaction that unlocks their eyes, Naruto explained, and everyone frowned, but not like the old Hokage. Naruto had warned him that something like this could happen, and happen it did. Sasuke killed me just for his eyes, Sakura said, sobbing. She loved that bastard. They were getting closer, but perhaps all that was just a rouse so Sasuke could unlock his eyes. He did care for you, Sakura, Naruto said, looking at her with compassion. Otherwise it wouldn't work for him, Naruto explained, and Sakura nodded. What now? Naruto asked, turning to Tsunade. We hunt his ass down and kill him in the spot, Kiba barked out, and everyone seemed to be in agreement. Sakura, Tsunade said, gathering her attention. What time was it when it happened? Tsunade asked, trying to ascertain the distance at which he could be by now. It was around 11, Sakura replied. She had calmed down but still couldn't believe that Sasuke would just kill her for power. I guess she was naive about him and his lust for power. But I don't understand why he would leave the village. Sakura said. Power, Naruto simply said, but decided to explain it further. You know that his older brother Uchiha Itachi killed his clan a couple of years ago, right? Naruto asked, and they all nodded. He wants power so he can avenge his family by killing his brother. He has grown up with this fixation, and it's the very reason of his being, it's the reason why he breathes. Killing his brother has become his life goal, and he must have felt too weak here, Naruto explained. During the second stage of the Chunin's exams, Orochimaru the Snake Sannin came into contact with him and offered him power. If he felt that Konoha was hindering his growth, he would jump at the chance of power without question, Naruto concluded, and Sakura frowned. I'm issuing all of you minus Ino an S-rank mission, Tsunade said in a strong voice, rising from her chair. You are to retrieve Uchiha Sasuke so he can face trial. If the retrieval proves impossible, you are to execute him at the spot. Bring his head and destroy his body, Tsunade ordered, and everyone nodded. That bastard would pay for killing one of their classmates in cold blood. He seems to around 20 miles to the north, Naruto said as he had one hand in the tiger seal. How do you know that? Tsunade asked, surprised. You weren't Hokage yet, but during the second phase of the Chunin's exams Orochimaru branded Sasuke with a cursed seal. I eventually placed a restraining seal on it, but, along with it, I added the Shiki seal for my Hiroshin just in case, Naruto explained, and Hiruzen was surprised that Naruto would thought of doing that. Then just go get him and we will wait right here, Tsunade said, but Naruto shook his head. Something is interfering with his cursed seal. I can barely feel my marker and it's becoming weaker and weaker by the second. At this point I can't jump to him, Naruto explained, frowned, but Tsunade nodded anyways. Can't you use your Sharingan spacetime technique? Tsunade asked, but Naruto sadly nodded. For me to travel using my Kamui, I need to warp into my dimension. The problem is that, once I'm there, I can't feel my marker, so I don't know where to exit, Naruto explained, and Tsunade frowned. It's better than nothing. Naruto, you are in charge, you got his position, get going, Tsunade ordered, and they all nodded. Gear up and meet at the north gate in 1 hour, Naruto ordered. Sakura, Naruto said, turning to her, you are here temporarily until my clones lasts. However, I can't guarantee that I can hold it in battle. Use the time you have to say goodbye, Naruto sadly said. Thank you, Naruto, Sakura said, and hugged everyone goodbye as they all left to hunt the traitor. Konoha North Gates, 1 hour later. 1 hour later everyone was gathered at the gate so they could hunt down their traitoress of a classmate. Their mission was simple: retrieve Uchiha Sasuke for trial or kill him and dispose of the body so that other villages couldn't learn the secrets of the Uchiha. Not that with only a couple of them alive would do them any good. Senju Naruto, Hyuga Hinata, Akimichi Chuji, Narashimakaru, Inazuka Kiba were the members chosen to this mission. All of them were at the gate ready to leave, all battle ready. Naruto-san, someone slowly said, and Naruto turned back to see Haruno Mabuki, Sakura's mother. I know that I'm in no position to ask this, not after everything I did, but, can you please bring that bastard back so he can pay for what he did to my daughter? Mabuki asked. A/N, kinda ironic, Sakura's mother asking this. I already told everyone that I hold no grudge against any of you, Naruto started. I promise that I will do my best to retrieve him so he can face trial and pay for what he did, Naruto said, and Mabuki thanked him. We have an Uchiha to hunt, move out, Naruto said, and everyone in his team dashed out of the gates. Middle of Fire Country. Naruto and his team were running at full speed towards Uchiha Sasuke. For some reason Sasuke seemed to be still, as if he wasn't moving at all. Naruto didn't know why he would do such a risky move while still inside the Fire Country, but he didn't judge. It was better for them if Sasuke stopped, it gave them time to catch up. Kiba, do you have Sasuke's scent? Naruto asked, and Kiba nodded. Good. My marker has gone dark, it's up to you now, Naruto said, and he nodded, taking point. However, I smell Four's other scents in the same direction as Sasuke, Kiba explained, and Naruto brought a hand to his chin. It's possible that Sasuke had help, Naruto stated. What does it smell like? Naruto asked, and Kiba sniffed the air. Snakes, Kiba said. Looks like Orochimaru sent help, Naruto reasoned. We are closing in at his position, Kiba stated, and Naruto took point. Alright team, Naruto said as they all stopped, we will be approaching them stealthy. We don't know what kind of backup Orochimaru sent, so let's be careful. I'll leave a few shadow clone behind in case we are ambushed. Hinata, use your Byakugan to search for traps, Naruto explained, and everyone nodded. They all walked very stealthily towards the origin of Sasuke's smell. Hinata had already spotted a couple of traps and they were able to easily disable them. They arrived near the position and Hinata looked around, spotting them. The Sound 4 was resting in a nearby clearing with a large barrel. They bear the musical note as the headband symbol, so they must belong to Otogekyure, Hinata said. Makes sense. It appears that Orochimaru sent help to retrieve him, Naruto said, and activated his Sharingan to have a better look at them. They were a bit far away, but using his Sharingan he easily identified them. They are the Sound 4, Naruto said, but got confused faces from his team. They are Orochimaru's elite bodyguards and they are the ones who set the barrier during the invasion, Naruto explained, and they all nodded. If they are elite, do you think we can take them all on? Kiba asked, but Naruto nodded nonetheless. I felt their chakra, they are ordinary Chunin. They are no match against me or Hinata, Naruto explained. Get in position, Naruto ordered, and they all nodded. Naruto swirled away and appeared a few meters on top of them. He was standing in a tree overlooking them. The rest of his team all took positions flanking the Sound 4s from all positions. The last one to get in position was Chuji, who was silently asking to his position. Crunch. Chuji inadvertently stepped on a small twig and, being Chuji rather on the heavy side, the twig snapped loud enough to even Naruto to hear. There goes our stealthy approach, Naruto muttered under his breath as the Sound 4 instantly jumped into action at the noise, taking defensive actions. Kuranasu, Naruto said, and everything turned back to the point. Chuji had yet to step on the twig. Naruto quickly flashed near Chuji, as he had tagged every member of his team before the fight. Naruto pointed to the twig on the ground and Chuji rubbed the back of his head in embarrassment. Naruto swirled away to his previous location and they all waited for the go-ahead of Naruto. Naruto made a hand movement and hundreds of shurikens rained on the Sound 4, coming for all sides including above, leaving them no chance for evasion. Doton, Doryuhiki, Earth Wall, a voice cried out of the Sound 4. An earth dome rose from the ground and shielded everyone inside, making the shurikens useless. We knew you were coming a while ago, Kobir said, and the earth dome crumbled into the ground to show the Sound Four with smirks on their faces. Naruto's team all regrouped since their attack failed and Naruto dropped from the tree and landed in between his team facing the Sound Four. "Hinata," Naruto started, "is Sasuke in the barrel?" Naruto asked as he didn't see Sasuke anywhere, but Kiba said he was around, so it didn't take a genius to figure it out. "Yes," Hinata said, analyzing the barrel with her Byakugan, "although something is happening to him. It looks like the cursed seal is covering his whole body and his heart rate is very low. It seems like he's in some kind of induced coma, but his chakra network is extremely active," Hinata explained. "That's why my marker failed. They did something to the cursed seal," Naruto concluded in thought, as it was the most logical outcome. "Our mission is the retrieval of Uchiha Sasuke for murder of a Konoha shinobi. If you stand aside we will allow you to leave unharmed," Naruto said stoically with his Sharingan blazing and glowing. "You say that after you attacked us. You aren't leaving this place alive, besides Orochimaru-sama would kill us if we didn't deliver his vessel," Kobir said. "Vessel?" Naruto asked, confused. "Orochimaru-sama switches his mind from body to body anytime he pleases. By doing so he remains alive. Orochimaru-sama is an immortal," Kobir explained and smirked at the disgusted faces of Konoha shinobi. "So that's why he wants Sasuke. He wants the Sharingan," Naruto thought to himself before looking directly at the supposed leader of the group. "What is your choice then?" Naruto asked, but his smirk told him everything. It looked like they weren't going to get Sasuke back without a fight. "Gunbai fanned wind," Naruto said as his chakra spiked. He placed his right hand on his fan's handle and, with a mighty swing, he unleashed a very powerful gust of wind. Everything in front of him was blasted away, trees were ripped out from the ground and the Sound Four were blasted away. Everything in front of Naruto, in the shape of a cone, was decimated. "He's pissed," Hinata thought, looking at Naruto. He never did really channel so much chakra into his attacks because they tend to be very destructive. "Damn," Kiba said, whistling at the destruction in front of him. "Incoming," Hinata said, and everyone took defensive stances. Against them were coming strange golden projectiles. Hinata jumped in front of her team and performed a Katen, destroying all projectiles. Suddenly they all felt themselves unable to move. A small tune echoed through the clearing. It was a beautiful tune. Naruto and Hinata easily saw the chakra being transmitted through the sound waves, meaning it was a genjutsu. They easily broke it themselves and freed their teammates. They looked around and all of the Sound Four dropped in front of them. Naruto channeled chakra to his storage seal and out came his Chikudo. He immediately channeled through it and the sword started sparkling with a light blue aura. Naruto dashed towards the Sound Four alone. Naruto arrived near them and began his onslaught of the Sound Shinobi. He sidestepped a punch from Sakan and used the opportunity to duck and sweep the legs of Taiyuya. Taiyuya jumped to avoid the leg sweep but was unable to block his kick that came from nowhere. Taiyuya placed her arms to block but was thrown backwards nonetheless. Naruto quickly rose up and performed an horizontal swing with his sword. Sakan tilted his head to the side and the sword grazed his ear, leaving a few strings floating in the air. Naruto jumped up just a kick from Jirobo was about to connect to his body. Naruto placed a hand on his knee for leverage and twisted mid-air, bringing his sword against Kobir and quickly chopped one of his arms off. Kobir grunted in pain and jumped back to heal himself while Sakan and Jirobo distracted him, with Taiyuya giving her support to her team. Kobir only had time to form a small plate of his golden material as a Juken strike connected with his chest. He coughed and jumped away again. Hinata looked at him curiously with her Byakugan and noticed small barriers that formed just above his skin. The skin was thick enough that her chakra-laced attack didn't penetrate deep enough to kill him. Why is it that every enemy that I fight has a way to render my Juken useless? Hinata thought as he remembered her fight with Yujito back at the Chunnin's exams and now this one. Back to Naruto, he was kicking the crap of the Sound 4. Taiyuya's genjutsu was useless against him, Jirobo's was simply too slow to even come close to hit him, and Sakan just didn't have the necessary skills to face him in a taijutsu brawl. Naruto jumped to the side to avoid a club that came from a doki controlled by Taiyuya. Naruto was mid-air when his Sharingan spotted some chakra molding to his right side. He sent a golden chain to the ground and so he could maneuver himself while mid-air. He touched the ground to see multiple spider webs coming towards him. He raised an eyebrow towards Kidamaru, who was spitting out silk. Naruto brought his sword and simply cleaved the web in two, making it fall to the ground. Oddly enough, Naruto was being overrun as he simply couldn't move himself fast enough to cleave all the webs coming towards him. Katan, Ryuka no Jutsu, Fire Dragon Technique, Naruto said and sent a torrent of fire towards Kidamaru. The fire obliterated any incoming web and crashed into Kidamaru, making him jump away if he didn't want to become extra crispy. Getsuga, Fong over Fong, / Nikuden Sensha, Human Bullet Tank, Kiba and Chuji both yelled as them and Kiba's partner, Akamaru, started spinning and going towards one of Taiyuya's doki. Their attack connected and completely destroyed it, leaving nothing but chunks on the ground. Taiyuya cursed her luck and began to focus again. Naruto was engaging Sakan and Yukon in combat. He was about to cleave Sakan's head off when another arm came out from his body and blocked it. After it, the whole arm became a body and stepped out from Sakan's original body as if he had duplicated. Naruto had to jump away if he didn't want to get crushed by another swing from the Dokus. Time to get rid of these annoying doki, Naruto thought to himself as he channeled chakra into his eyes. Amaterasu, Naruto said, and the remaining two dokus erupted in black flames. They squirmed around the field, smashing and destroying things randomly until they were nothing more than ashes on the ground. "We need level 2 now," Taiyuya yelled to her teammates as black markings started spreading themselves around each one of the Sound 4. The black markings easily covered the whole body, changing their color skin to an unnatural brown. Taiyuya gained horns and Kidamaru gained an extra eye in the middle of his forehead. What is this? Naruto wondered in thought. Naruto had clearly seen the black marks spreading through their bodies, meaning it was the curse seal, but this version seemed far more powerful than the one he knew. Is it another version? Naruto thought to himself. Naruto dodged a punch from Jirobo, who crashed into the ground and made a pretty decent crater. It's like Bachan's punches. Naruto shivered at the thought of getting hit by one of those. Naruto looked to his right and noticed that Kidamaru had some type of golden arrow pointed directly at him and getting ready to fire it. Kidamaru fired the arrow and it was coming in hot to Naruto. Naruto blurred from his position and arrived near Jirobo. Naruto channeled lightning chakra into his knee and delivered it to Jirobo's gut. Jirobo buckled in pain and let out a gasp. Naruto picked up Jirobo and threw him towards the incoming arrow. Jirobo couldn't dodge mid-air and, as such, got pierced through his right shoulder, making his right arm useless. Jirobo fell to the ground spitting out blood and with labored breaths. Shit, Kidamaru thought to himself as he had missed his target and ended up hitting a teammate. Yukon appeared next to Naruto and tried to merge with him only to phase right through him. The moment Yukon had phased through him, Naruto quickly turned around and blocked Yukon's elbow with both arms. Naruto extended Yukon's arm and easily broke it at his elbow junction. Yukon screamed in pain but was quickly muffled as he was absorbed into Naruto's dimension, leaving a panicking Sakan behind. This is not going well, Taiyuya thought to herself as he took notice to her teammate's status. Kidamaru had a missing arm, Jirobo had his right arm disabled and was bleeding from his right shoulder. Sakan just lost his counterpart and herself had lost her dokus. She decided to help her teammates and rushed Naruto to engage him in a taijutsu battle. In level 2 her speed and strength was greatly increased. Naruto turned around to see Tayuya running towards him and smirked. He activated his Kamui and sank underground, leaving Tayuya furiously looking for him. "Come out, you bastard," Tayuya yelled. Naruto suddenly emerged right in front of her and gave her an uppercut. Tayuya was thrown upwards and Naruto delivered a kick to her stomach, sending her flying. Not having enough, Naruto summoned one of his chains and attached it to Tayuya's ankle. He spun around and threw Tayuya into Sakan, who didn't see her coming. "Die," Kidamaru said as he fired another golden arrow. Naruto smirked as he used his Kamui and placed Yukon right in front of the arrow, trapping him in a chokehold. The arrow pierced Yukon's heart cleanly and phased through Naruto, leaving Yukon's body without even slowing down. Yukon fell to the ground dead and was easily burned into ashes as Naruto used a fire attack to light him up. "No," Sakan yelled as he watched his counterpart being killed. "What are you doing, Kidamaru?" Sakan yelled at his partner as he had just killed a piece of him. "The bastard has more tricks than I know," Kidamaru replied, but that was the wrong move. Naruto took advantage at his distraction and blurred his way towards him and locked eyes with him. Kidamaru let out a small gasp as he looked into the Sharingan. A small shadow crept behind him and trapped him at the spot. Not even 1 second later, Hinata appeared next to him and, using her daggers with wind chakra, she cleaved Kidamaru's head clean off. His head rolled into the ground as the curse mark retracted and his skin regained the normal color. "Shit, they got Kidamaru," Tayuya cursed as she watched the leader of the Sound 4 die. These odds weren't looking good and only 2 of the Konoha shinobi were actively battling them. Even if they were in level 2, they stood no chance against Naruto and Hinata. "Suetun, Swishuha, exploding water wave," Hinata said and pumped her lungs full of chakra. "Raitun, Rarayuden, lightning dragon," Naruto said and sent his own lightning dragon crashing into Hinata's water attack. Naruto's lightning spread across the ocean that Hinata created and washed up against the remaining of the Sound 4 who were too weak to even dodge. They all washed up in a nearby tree, twitching and spasming on the ground. "They are finished," Naruto said as he looked towards the remaining of Sound 4 who were barely conscious at that point. "Get Sasuke out of the barrel and let's take him back home," Naruto ordered as he made his way towards the Sound 4 to kill them. "Kukukuku, splendid," a new voice echoed through the clearing. Everyone jumped at the sudden voice and regrouped. "How nice of you to join us, Orochi team," Naruto sarcastically said as they all took defensive stances in front of the barrel that contained Sasuke. "How dare you speak to Orochimaru-sama with such language," another person that was close to Orochimaru yelled. That someone pointed his finger at Naruto and fired something from them. Naruto easily tracked them with his Sharingan and dodged all of them, catching one with his fingers. "Did he just throw a bone at me?" Naruto asked to Hinata, who nodded. "Do I look like a dog?" Naruto asked him and threw the bones at Akamaru, who proceeded to eat them, making Kimimara's eye twitch. Naruto looked at the person that attacked him and he had pale skin, vivid green eyes, masculine facial features, 2 scarlet dots on his forehead and shoulder-length white hair, which he wore divided down the middle on his head with 2 separate partings on either side of his face. He wore a specialized version of the traditional Otonin ensemble, consisting of a light lavender, loose-fitting, long-sleeved, zip-up shirt, black pants cut off around mid-calf, bandages wrapped around his ankles, traditional shinobi sandals, and a purple, rope-like belt tied in an inverted bow around his waist. He also wore 2 red, tube-like hair ornaments, one on either side of his head, securing 2 locks of his silvery white hair. He did not wear a sound headband, despite his extreme loyalty to Orochimaru. His cursed seal of earth is applied at the base of his throat, where it is a circular pattern of 3 curved lines. It looks like he fired his fingertips, but he already has more ready. He seems to be able to control his bones, Hinata explained, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. Bones? Naruto pondered until it clicked. You are a Kagaya, aren't you? Naruto asked, and the man simply nodded. I thought you were all killed when you guys attacked Kiri a few years ago, Naruto stated. I'm Kagaya Kimimaro, the last of the Kagaya clan, faithful servant of Orochimaru-sama, Kimimaro stoically said. Bright as always Naruto-kun, Naruto heard someone say and turned to see a figure approaching behind Orochimaru. Kabuto? Naruto asked, shocked to see Kabuto standing there, and he clearly killed him. Naruto looked closely at him until he noticed that his eyes were black and his skin had cracks. You're an Edo Tensei, Naruto stated, and Kabuto chuckled. I'm too valuable to simply be discarded by Orochimaru-sama. Although you forced Orochimaru-sama to take an early vessel, Kabuto stated, pushing his glasses up. So you came for your next vessel? Naruto asked, looking at the barrel that contained Sasuke. It's unfortunate that I can't have you, so I'll just take the backup, Orochimaru said, chuckling. You think we will just let you take him away? Naruto asked, smirking. This doesn't look good. A battle between me and Orochimaru will be very destructive, and I can't protect those 3 while I'm fighting, even more with that Kimimaro and Kabuto in the mix, Naruto thought, considering what to do. I can do hand seals now, Naruto-kun. And I'll be taking Sasuke-kun with me, either you let it or not, Orochimaru said, licking his lips. Kabuto, Orochimaru said towards his servant, heal the rest of the Sound 4 to your best extent, Orochimaru ordered, and Kabuto complied. Kabuto went towards Tayuya and healed a few scratches and broken bones. He gave a couple of food and blood replenishing pills to Jirobo and did the same to Sakan. What are we going to do? Kiba asked, gulping. He didn't like being against one of the Sannin. This is the golden opportunity to end the snake for good. Let's start by taking out the Sound 4-inch, Naruto thought to himself as he readied himself to use his Hiraishin. He had already marked every single one of the Sound 4 during his battle against them. Kamui, Naruto whispered and tried to absorb Kabuto into his dimension, but it was too slow and Kabuto immediately jumped away to gain distance from his current location. Too slow, Naruto-kun, Kabuto said, smirking and pushing his glasses up, but was confused when he saw Naruto smirk as well. Who said you were the target? Naruto rhetorically asked as his sword sparkled and he disappeared in a yellow flash. Everyone just had time to blink as Naruto only seemed to shimmer from his location. Everyone raised an eyebrow in confusion until they heard several thump sounds. They looked around to the remaining members of the Sound 4 without their heads. I like these odds more, Naruto said, smirking, and Orochimaru gritted his teeth. He had just lost 4 of his most powerful men and Naruto had killed the last 3 in the blink of an eye. This brat is dangerous, Kimimaro thought as he looked at Naruto very carefully. What the hell? Kiba yelled as he saw the heads of the Sound 4 plop to the ground. He didn't even see Naruto move from his position. Kiba, Chuji, Shikamaru, you guys take on Kabuto. Be careful that he's an Edo Tensei. His body is immortal and his chakra is limitless. You need to restraining or cripple him and then apply this tag to his body, Naruto explained and handed them the tag. Once you place the tag on his body, his soul will be released. He's strong as Kakashi-sensei, so be very careful, Naruto said, and everyone nodded. Hinata, you take on Kimimaro. You both should be around the same level in taijutsu. His bloodline allows him free control over every bone, Naruto explained, and she nodded. I'll take on Orochimaru, Naruto said, looking at the smirking snake. You sure you can handle him? Shikamaru asked. He's one of the Sannin. Don't worry. I already fought against him twice and nearly killed him the last time, Naruto said as if reminiscing his memories. Let's see if you can take me on alone now, Orochimaru said and started releasing his chakra. Chuji, Kiba, and Shikamaru cringed at the feeling they got. They felt as nothing more than ants at the face of such an adversary. However, their jaws dropped when Naruto unleashed his own chakra that seemed to match and even surpass Orochimaru. The ground around them started cracking from the pressure. A cloud of dust was starting to form around their feet due to the chakra output. Naruto's hair flapped wildly as his chakra seemed endless and extremely powerful. They both disappeared in a blur and a loud shockwave echoed through the clearing, meaning that those two had began their battle. Let's go, Hinata said, and everyone took their positions. Hinata versus Kimimaro. Hinata and Kimimaro both took their positions and respective stances in front of each other. Kimimaro seemed to be relaxed and more than confident in his abilities. Don't get me wrong, he didn't have the air of arrogance around him, but anyone could see that he was confident in his abilities. Hinata had Byakugan activate and was studying her enemy to her best extent. Her Byakugan would come particularly helpful against him as she could see the bones coming out of his body before they had even left it. Although something seemed wrong with his body. Kimimaro's system seemed to be on overdrive and his metabolism seemed to be higher than average. They both blurred through each other and engaged in a heated battle of taijutsu. Neither one of them was gaining advantage over the other. Kimimaro was physically stronger but Hinata was faster and more flexible. Tsubaki no Mai, Dance of the Camellia, Kimimaro said, and Hinata watched as a bone started protruding from his left shoulder. It was a small bit at first, but then it became more and more visible as it came out. Kimimaro placed his right hand on it and pulled the rest of bone out. It was a short, bone-hilted bone sword. When then suddenly dashed towards Hinata at great speed and performed a series of fast stabbings trying to confuse Hinata as some attacks mirrored after images. However, that wasn't a problem for Hinata's Byakugan. Even thought it seemed after images to regular eyes, Hinata's Byakugan could easily track all of them and she proceeded to dodge every single strike Kimimaro performed. It was like she was dancing. If Kimimaro stabbed in front she sidestepped it to the left. Kimimaro would readjust the trajectory but Hinata would simply dodge again. Having enough of just dodging, Hinata waited for another stab that was a bit to her right. The moment it came she sidestepped it and swatted his arm away. Taking advantage of Kimimaro's error, she recoiled her right arm and said, "Hack Kushu, air palm." Kimimaro was hit square on, at point blank, by an air palm right in his chest. Kimimaro was thrown backwards and crashed into the ground but was unharmed. Teshi Sendan, 10-finger drilling bullets, Kimimaro said as he got back up. He pointed his fingers at Hinata and fired his fingertips at her with great speed. Hinata could easily track them with her Byakugan and simply dodged them. Suetun, Mizurappa, wild water wave, Hinata said and unlashed a stream of water from her mouth. The water was sent towards Kimimaro and jumped away to avoid it. He looked around for Hinata only for her to appear behind him. Hack Rokujinshu, 64 palms of the hand, Hinata said and began her attacks by closing the major chakra points. In the middle of her attack she was forced to jump back when bones popped out of his chest, giving her no choice but to make some distance. This is why I say that Juken is almost useless, Hinata thought, sighing. Kimimaro had created bone plates beneath his skin that were thick enough for her Juken strikes to be rendered useless. Her flowing fist was useless against Kimimaro and, as such, she would need to come with another plan. She would have to resort to her poisons and ninjutsu and attack at his most vulnerable point, his neck. Kimimaro rushed Hinata as he had the advantage in a taijutsu fight. Yanagi no Mai, Dance of the Willow, Kimimaro said, and several bone blades started growing from several points of his body. His palms, his knees, elbows and shoulders now had long bones protruding from them. Hinata quickly took out her daggers and, channeling wind chakra through them, engaged Kimimaro in a deadly dance of weapons to see who would come out the winner. Hinata was surprised when she saw that the bones were holding against her daggers. It appeared as they weren't normal bones, as they seemed far stronger than normal ones. She took a closer look and noticed that Kimimaro was even running chakra through them. Kimimaro was so busy fighting Hinata that he didn't see another one approach from behind. Suetun, Sura no Jutsu, water prison, Hinata's clone said, and using the water from the previous attack she trapped Kimimaro inside a water prison. Knowing it would be too dangerous to even approach him, she decided to let him drown. "This isn't going to stop me," Kimimaro said, and a very long bone shot from his hand. The bone completely pierced through the water prison and Hinata's clone, making it disperse in water and letting Kimimaro out of his prison. The original Hinata jumped back to gain some distance when she saw her clone be destroyed. "Mizu no Muchi, water whip," Hinata said, and several whips of water started forming and trapped Kimimaro by his hands and ankles. Hinata blurred towards him and, channeling chakra to her hand, she slammed her hand into Kimimaro's chest. To her surprise, instead of hitting his skin and killing him, her hand was stopped by several bones that popped out of his chest, rendering her attack useless. Hinata jumped back and pouted. She couldn't get any attack in. It was obvious that his bloodline was far more suited for taijutsu than her was. However, she wouldn't give up just because her opponent was tough. "Sensatsu Suisho, 1,000 needles of death," Hinata said, and hundreds of water needles formed around her and shot towards Kimimaro, who remained in place. The water needles collided with Kimimaro, but they simply bounced back and fall to the ground. "Those bones," Hinata thought, shaking her head. Kimimaro had created once again a layer of bone to block all of the needles. Hinata knew that to even poison him with her senbons, she would have to catch him by surprise. "Suetun, Suryuden no Jutsu, water dragon," Hinata said, and a huge dragon formed from the water in the ground and growled his way towards Kimimaro. "That's a bit too much to simply stand by," Kimimaro thought as he began running to avoid the dragon that eventually crashed into the ground and dispelled into water. Hinata reappeared next to him and engaged him in taijutsu. However, this time, Kimimaro found himself completely in defense due to Hinata's fierce attacks. Kimimaro was parrying Hinata's daggers as best as he could, but he didn't understand why his adversary had suddenly got a power spike. He was busy thinking that he didn't notice one clone of Hinata appear behind him from all the water in the ground. Kimimaro suddenly felt a presence behind him and pushed bones from his back out. The bones immediately hit the clone and it was destroyed. Kimimaro suddenly felt himself snared to the ground by water whips. He didn't notice the presence of a second clone. "Here," Hinata thought as she pushed herself as fast as she could and slashed towards Kimimaro's throat with her wind-enhanced daggers. Kimimaro saw this and he didn't have much choice. He pushed all of his bones out and destroyed the water whips and grazed Hinata in her shoulder. Kimimaro jumped back when he noticed a few drops of blood falling into the ground. He placed his hand on his neck and felt a small bit of pain. Hinata had managed to cut him, deep enough to draw blood. "Now we wait," Hinata thought as she had successfully injected her poison into him. The cut might not be deep enough, but the poison would eventually spread and she just had to wait. Kimimaro was starting to feel weak, his vision was starting to fade into nothing more than blurs. It was then that he understood that he had been poisoned. Kimimaro looked towards Kabuto, who was busy fighting those three genin, and he knew that he didn't have time to try and heal him. Kimimaro had no other choice but to go into level 2. Kimimaro channeled chakra to his earth-cursed seal located in the middle of his chest. Black markings started spreading through his body until he was totally covered. He now had dark gray skin, 6 large bone spines protruding out of his back, and a long bone-spiked tail. Hinata could already tell that his strength had increased by quite a bit, and if he used it now then it must have been to neutralize her poison. Hinata saw Kimimaro suddenly start running towards her. For lack of a better word, Kimimaro looked like a dinosaur rampaging towards her. Hinata braced herself, and the moment Kimimaro arrived near her she side-stepped him and, grabbed one of his bones from his back. She jumped on his back. Her chakra flared and her daggers glowed blue as she was ready to kill him for good. Kimimaro spiked his chakra and another bone popped from his back. Hinata just had enough to tilt her head to the side, but she still got scratched in her cheek, drawing blood. Hinata jumped away to gain some distance when she saw Kimimaro crouch. Tasenka no Mai, Tsuru, Dance of the Clematis, Vine, Kimimaro said, and a small bone started growing out from the back of his head, at the top of his spine. Kimimaro grabbed it and pulled it out. Hinata's eyes widened when she saw exactly he had pulled. Kimimaro had pulled of his own spine and had it now pointed at her like some spear. Kimimaro flexed the spear and she expanded, going fast towards Hinata. Mizu no Tate, Water Shield, Hinata said, and the water rose around her, making a small shield around her chest. Hinata used the jutsu fast enough as Kimimaro's spine suddenly wrapped itself around her, pinning her to the spot. Tasenka no Mai, Hana, Dance of the Clematis, Flower, Kimimaro said, and bone started emerging and wrapping itself around Kimimaro's left arm. Kimimaro channeled extreme amounts of chakra to create the thickest bone he could. The bone itself seemed like a drill and completely covered Kimimaro's left arm. Dai-ee-ee, Kimimaro yelled as he thrusted his left arm towards the immobile Hinata. Kaiten, Hinata said, and using the water shield around her as oil in a motor she started spinning. A blue chakra dome appeared around her. Kimimaro's strongest attack connected, but her shield didn't waver, and slowly, but surely, Hinata's Kaiten started eating away his bone due to the spinning effect. A few seconds later, Kimimaro's bone was nothing more than dust on the ground. They were about to jump at each other again when they heard a small explosion followed by a small cloud of smoke. Uchiha Sasuke had awakened from his coma and his appearance had completely changed. Shika, Kiba and Chuji versus Kabuto. Oh my, 3 babies against me, Kabuto said, chuckling and pushing his glasses upwards. If I remember correctly, it was a baby named Naruto that killed you, Shikamaru said, yawning at the face of such troublesome opponent. Don't even mix him with you. Neither of you hold a candle to what Naruto-kun can do. Only Orochimaru-sama can match Naruto-kun's power. That's the reason we came to retrieve Sasuke personally, as Kadamaru had informed us of what they were up against, Kabuto explained as his hand started glowing and buzzing like chainsaws. Let's go, Kiba said as Shikamaru crouched and placed his hands on the rat seal, making his shadow shimmer. Tsuga, Kiba said, and started spinning and going towards Kabuto, who smirked. Kabuto simply sidestepped the attack, making Kiba simply pass by him. The moment that Kiba passed by him, Kabuto recoiled and kicked Kiba hard in the back. Kiba lost control of his attack and slammed into a tree, slightly dazed. Don't attack blindly, Shikamaru yelled. Don't you remember what Naruto said? He's strong as Kakashi, making him an elite jounin, Shikamaru stated. Kage main no jutsu, shadow imitation technique, Shikamaru said, and his shadow blurred his towards Kabuto. Kabuto had just kicked Kiba into the ground and didn't notice the shadow. Kabuto got caught and was frozen in spot. Nikuden Sha, human bullet tank, Chuji said, and began spinning towards Kabuto. Chuji rolled, picking up speed, and crashed into Kabuto, sending him crashing into a nearby tree. They were running towards him to place the tag and end the battle when Kabuto poofed in smoke to reveal a small wooden log. Kabuto popped out of the ground, just behind Shikamaru, and grabbed him by the ankles. Using his chakra scalpel he managed to cut Shikamaru's tendons on both his feet, thus disabling his movement. Shikamaru groaned and fell to his knees, clutching his feet, who were now temporarily disabled. This is bad, Shikamaru thought. Shikamaru was now a sitting target as he couldn't move properly. The only thing he could right now was giving support to both Kiba and Chuji with his shadow. Anything else other than that he was unable to do. Chuji, Kiba, Shikamaru called and they approached him so he could explain his plan. They all took their positions and Kiba started running towards Kabuto, and while Shikamaru did what he did best. He sat down and began to use his shadow to provide some help to Kiba by distraction Kabuto. Sanaijishu, hidden snake hands, Kabuto said and flexed his right arm forward. Four snakes suddenly jumped from his sleeves and wrapped themselves around Kiba. Kabuto spun and threw Kiba into a tree, making him cough a bit of blood and fall to the ground. Akamaru quickly ran to the side of his partner. Too slow, Kabuto, and jumped away from the shadow that was creeping out behind him. Kabuto jumped several times as the shadow didn't seem to stop chasing him. Kabuto quickly threw a couple shurikens and kunais and threw them at Shikamaru, who had to roll to avoid them since he couldn't move properly. Now, Shikamaru yelled. Baika no Jutsu, expansion jutsu, Chuji said and jumped from the top of the trees over the field. His body expanded into a very large spherical form covering most of the field in shadows. Shikamaru took the opportunity and used his shadow that quickly connect to Kabuto since almost all of the field was covered in shadows due to Chuji blocking the sun. Getsuga, Kiba yelled as both he and his partner started spinning like a drill and crashed into Kabuto. Kiba and Akamaru completely wrecked Kabuto's shoulder and he was sent crashing into the ground and had already started reforming. Place to tag quickly, Shikamaru said, and Chuji ran as fast as he could towards Kabuto. Chuji arrived near him and was about to place the tag when Kabuto got up and punched him in the stomach, making him buckle and kicked him away. My, you almost got me, Kabuto said, chuckling as his shoulder had completely reformed as if nothing had ever happened. Feels like new, Kabuto said, flexing his arm. Boom. Uchiha Sasuke has woken. Naruto vs Orochimaru. Naruto and Orochimaru were having a fierce battle in taijutsu. Orochimaru's speed was nothing compared to Naruto's, and with his Sharingan Orochimaru couldn't hit Naruto. On the other hand, Orochimaru could bend his body at unnatural angles which enabled him to dodge Naruto's attacks. During the whole battle some hits got in but nothing major in either of them. Sanaijishu, hidden snake hands, Orochimaru said, flexing his right arm forward. Snakes came out from his sleeves and wrapped themselves around Naruto only for him to disperse in a cloud of smoke. Raikiri, Naruto said as he appeared right behind Orochimaru with his hand coated in lightning. Naruto pierced through Orochimaru's chest, destroying his heart. Orochimaru started melting into mud, revealing it to be an ordinary earth clone. Suddenly Orochimaru popped out of the ground with his sword in his mouth, ready to stab Naruto through the chest. Naruto easily saw him coming with his Sharingan and used his Kamui to simply let the attack slip through him. Naruto jumped to the side and used his sword to cleave Orochimaru's body in half. To his surprise, the two halves of Orochimaru simply sent snakes to the other end and merged themselves together again as if nothing had ever happened. Futon, Daitapa, great breakthrough, Orochimaru said and clapped his hands together and created a very strong gust of wind. Naruto channeled chakra to his feet to stick to the ground, but the gust was too strong and he had to jump away from it. Katan, Ryuka no Jutsu, Fire Dragon Technique, Naruto said and took advantage of the existing wind to power up his fire attack against Orochimaru. Orochimaru was enveloped in a cloud of fire. Once it dissipated, there was nothing more than an empty shell in his place. Naruto looked around but couldn't feel where Orochimaru was. Orochimaru suddenly popped out behind him from the ground with his fingers glowing. Gogyo Fuin, 5-element seal, Orochimaru said, and slammed his hand into Naruto only to simply phase through him. Once Orochimaru had passed through him, Naruto turned around and kicked him in the chest, sending him flying. He wants to disable Kurama. Too bad it wouldn't work, Naruto thought as he saw Orochimaru getting up as if nothing had ever happened. Orochimaru's mouth suddenly opened to inhuman proportions and another Orochimaru came out. Naruto concluded that particular jutsu took a heavy chunk of his chakra away, but, interestingly enough, the snake Sannin wasn't even close to half of his chakra reserves. But then again, Naruto had barely scratched the surface of his. Orochimaru suddenly flashed through hand seals that Naruto immediately recognized, but he was too late to stop it. Kuchios, Edo Tensei, Impure World Resurrection, Orochimaru said, clapping his hands, and a single coffin popped out. The coffin opened and Senju Hashirama came out, still in its sleep state. Can't he fight his own battles? Naruto muttered, sighing as his eyes glowed for a moment. Kuranasu, time god, Naruto muttered under his breath as he watched everything roll itself back in time. Hashirama walked back to the coffin and it closed by itself. The coffin then went underground. Naruto's eyes glowed and time started again the moment Orochimaru was thinking of the hand seals. Naruto threw a 3-pronged kunai towards Orochimaru, as he was starting the seal sequence, and appeared right next to him. Utama Rasengan, Big Rasengan, Naruto said, and pushed his large chakra ball into Orochimaru. A large blue dome of chakra erupted due to the explosion. Once the dust was gone, Orochimaru was nowhere to be seen. However, Naruto had seen Orochimaru mold chakra into a jutsu that he knew all too well. Just as he expected, Orochimaru popped out of the ground just in front of him with a sword in his mouth. Naruto side-stepped his sword thrust and kneed him in the stomach, making him buckle in pain. Naruto flipped Orochimaru and trapped him in a choke hold and used his Kamui to start absorbing him. Slithering snake mode, Orochimaru muttered, and the lower part of his body became flexible and similar to a snake's tail. Orochimaru used his tail to wrap itself around Naruto's arm and broke the chokehold, allowing him to substitute with a nearby log. Once he substituted, Naruto disabled his Kamui and watched Orochimaru slither away to gain some distance. Orochimaru was about to another set of hand seals when he was interrupted, again with the Edo Tensei, "Can't you fight for your own battles? Must you depend on one's power?" Naruto said at the shocked face of Orochimaru. "How did you know I was going to the Edo Tensei?" Orochimaru asked curiously. "Why should I tell you anything?" Naruto stated, smirking as Orochimaru scowled. "The boy, let's just say, my eyes are more powerful than you can imagine." Orochimaru-chan, Naruto said, taunting him. "My eyes are everything that you always wanted, but you will never get this set," Naruto said, chuckling as Orochimaru plummeted to the ground. "Is Sasuke-kun going to take much more to complete the ritual?" Orochimaru thought to himself and weighing his options. "Mandara no Jin, 10,000 snakes wave," Orochimaru said as he opened his mouth. Thousands of snakes suddenly started crawling out of his mouth, forming a gigantic wave towards Naruto. The snake's wall rose into the air, blocking the sun's view and casting a shadow into the battlefield. "Does he even have any jutsu not snake-related?" Naruto said, sighing. Naruto gripped his fan from his back and placed his left hand in the tiger seal. His chakra spiked as his lungs filled with air laced with chakra. "Katan, Goryuka no Jutsu, Great Dragon Fire Technique," Naruto said, and unleashed a torrent of fire shaped in a dragon's head into the incoming snakes. Once his fire jutsu had started, Naruto swung his fan, creating a very powerful gust of wind that powered up his fire attack. Naruto had unleashed an inferno that washed against the snakes. Almost all the snakes were instantly vaporized, leaving just a few to Naruto to deal with personally. Kuchios no Jutsu, Orochimaru said as he swiped blood across his tattoo in his arm. A very large brown snake appeared in a cloud of smoke and instantly tried to crush Naruto. Naruto jumped to the side to avoid it and then jumped away to gain some distance. Snakes again. Naruto said, shaking his head and preparing his attack to finish the snake before it could cause more confusion. Their battle was beginning to escalate as they already had used some large-scale jutsu. Naruto focused his chakra and his eyes glowed. Suddenly and out of nowhere, chains bursted from the ground. However, these chains weren't the traditional golden that Naruto used to summon. These chains were burning with black flames. Naruto had combined his golden chains with his Amaterasu. Inferno chains, Naruto said as his flaming chains instantly dashed and wrapped themselves around the snake. The snake hissed in pain and tried struggling out of them but couldn't. The chains were too tightly wrapped around it. Orochimaru jumped down from the snake as another chain tried to wrap itself around him. The snake dispelled in a cloud of smoke. Naruto retracted his chains and they started floating above him, aiming to Orochimaru. The chains were just hovering around Naruto as if waiting the order of their master to engage. Naruto smirked and the chains suddenly blurred towards his opponent. Orochimaru ran for his life and tried dodge as best as he could. Naruto's chain attacks were similar to Hashirama's Mokuton as both could freely manipulate each one. The problem was that Naruto's attack was infinitely more deadlier. If you were caught by the trees, no big deal. However, if you were caught by these chains, you would instantly be ignited with Amaterasu flames that can't be put out and it would mean instant death. Orochimaru jumped to the side to dodge a chain. The moment he landed, another chain popped out of the ground and tried to wrap itself around his ankle, but Orochimaru managed to substitute with a nearby log. Suddenly the chain stopped the chase and stopped midway between Naruto and Orochimaru. The chains were acting vertical bars, slightly apart, slipping Naruto from Orochimaru. Futon, Daitapa, great breakthrough, Naruto said and released gust of wind from his lungs. Orochimaru's eyes widened when Naruto's wind attack connected with the chains and brought upon it a wave of black flames. Naruto's wind attack had carried the black flames, making a gigantic wave of them wash over Orochimaru. Orochimaru's body was completely enveloped in black flames, as well as the nearby field. Orochimaru had nowhere to go unless underground, and that is what he did. Orochimaru switched his skin and used his Doton technique to move underground to someplace where the black flames weren't active. This brat is way too dangerous, Orochimaru thought to himself as a small bead of sweat rolled down his face. Orochimaru looked to his right and sighed, happy that he survived the inferno that was still going down there and, by the looks of it, wasn't going to end anytime soon. Naruto was about to light Orochimaru on fire with his black flames when a loud explosion echoed through all of the clearing that Naruto had created with his fan. The barrel where Sasuke was exploded in a cloud of purple smoke. The moment the barrel exploded, everyone stopped their battles and regrouped with their allies. Sasuke jumped out of the barrel and landed in the middle of both factions. Sasuke's second level of the cursed seal turned his skin dark gray with a black 4-point star mark between his eyes and across the bridge of his nose. His sclera turned black, his irises turned yellow and his lips turned blue. He also grew claw-like nails and his hair grew to waist length without losing its style. "And people call me a monster," Naruto muttered out loud, taking in the new shape of Sasuke. He already expected something like this when he saw just what exactly the Sound 4 could become. Naruto shifted his eyes towards Kimimaro, who looked like a rhinoceros ready to stomp on someone. Naruto then looked towards his team to take into account their injuries. Shikamaru was on the ground nursing his ankles as Hinata was already healing him. Both Kiba and Chuji were out of breath and we could see the sweat rolling of them. Naruto then turned to Hinata, who looked fine with the exception of a couple of scratches through her clothes and one on her cheek. "Uchiha Sasuke," Naruto said in a strong and commanding voice, "by order of the Godame Hokage, you are to return to Konoha to face trial for the murder of Haruno Sakura. If your retrieval isn't possible, termination has been allowed," Naruto explained with his Sharingan spinning and his killing intent rolling. Sasuke laughed loud before suddenly stopping and turning to Naruto with a dark look. "She served her purpose," Sasuke said, making his Manjikyu flare to life and trying to intimidate his adversaries. It worked to some extent, as all but Naruto and Hinata were shivering just from looking at those eyes. If Sasuke killed Sakura to achieve those eyes, then they must be something else. "You killed her just to get those eyes?" Kiba yelled to Sasuke. "She was our teammate and you killed her in cold blood," Kiba said. "I already told everyone that I would stop at nothing to get my revenge," Sasuke coldly said. "Now that I have these eyes," Sasuke said, pointing toward his Manjikyu, "I'm going to kill all of you," Sasuke said, laughing as his chakra spiked. A small trail of blood started leaking out from his eye as his chakra flared. "Amaterasu," Sasuke said, and Naruto erupted in black flames. Sasuke laughed thinking he got Naruto, but he was very surprised when he noticed that the black flames were swirling away into his eyes. "Futon, Daitapa, great breakthrough," Naruto said, and released a gust of wind. At the same he released the black flames from his eyes. A wave of black fire washed over his enemies, who had to jump away to avoid it. "I don't see this ending well," Orochimaru said to his company. "Kabuto, do it," Orochimaru ordered, and Kabuto nodded, jumping towards Sasuke. Naruto took advantage of the time they were retreating and started channeling Raiten chakra through his hands. He formed the all too well-known blue chakra sphere and sent into the sky. The sky instantly became darker and darker, the wind started rustling furiously as loud thunders could be heard echoing through the clearing. "This isn't good," Orochimaru said to himself as he remembered this attack very well from the reports of the Suna and Sound invasion. "He's going to kill us all," Sasuke yelled towards Orochimaru to do something. He had already seen this jutsu and there wasn't much they could do. The only problem Naruto was facing was that, if he launched this jutsu, there probably wouldn't be anything left of Sasuke to take back to Konoha. "Like I care, I can just use the Edo Tensei to prove he's dead," Naruto thought to himself, agreeing with his logic. "Raiten, Kirin," Naruto said, and the thunders gathered in a single one. Naruto's hand sparkled with lightning as he did a downward movement to command the dragon to attack his target. Before Naruto could finalize the jutsu, a very large bone bursted from the ground very close to their position. Due to Naruto's Sharingan, he could easily track the bone and shifted his body to the side to avoid it. The problem was that, by moving his body from his original position, his Kirin Jutsu rocketed down upon the earth but with the wrong target. The field exploded and sent debris and trees everywhere. Naruto was in contact with everyone in his team and used his Kamui to make everyone intangible. Once the smoke started clearing, what was once a clearing with trees surrounding it, was now nothing more than a crater similar to one just outside of Konoha. The dust cloud had cleared and Naruto refocused on the battlefield. Kabuto was reforming as he seemingly lost almost all of his body from the neck down. Sasuke was on the ground with his clothes ripped apart and his body smoking, and he was back to his original self. His curse seal was deactivated, meaning that he was unconscious. Kimimaro appeared to be externally well, but that thought was gone when he fell to the ground coughing up blood. Naruto looked for Orochimaru until a hand bursted from the ground near Sasuke. Orochimaru crawled out of the hole barely breathing. "Damn you!" Orochimaru yelled in pain. Naruto just smiled while both Shikamaru and Chuji were gapping like a fish at the jutsu Naruto used. "You don't look good," Naruto said to Orochimaru to vomited himself out of his old body. Orochimaru stood in front of them completely unharmed, but Naruto could see that his chakra reserves were almost gone. he would have to retreat if he wanted to live, but Naruto wasn't going to allow that. Naruto jumped towards Orochimaru and his company. Suddenly, 4 other Narutos popped of the ground, forming a square around everyone minus Hinata, Chuji, Kiba and Shikamaru. Ninpu, Shishinjin, Ninja Art, for Flames formation, the clones all yelled and a large purple barrier was set in place trapping everyone inside. "You can't escape now, Orochimaru," Naruto said smirking. "This is your end," Naruto said as he flashed Sasuke and quickly absorbed him into his dimension. Naruto started leaking out red chakra from his body and that placed Orochimaru on alert. "Kabuto, do you have them?" Orochimaru asked and Kabuto nodded, throwing 2 vials to Orochimaru who proceeded to swallow them. Back to Naruto, he suddenly exploded in a shockwave of red chakra. Naruto now had 4 chakra tails connected to his backbone. His whole appearance was like a miniature Kyuubi. Naruto was leaking out chakra and killing intent that would kill an ordinary Chunin with just that. "Sawarabi no Mai, Dance of the Seedling Fern," Kimimaro said and used the last of his strengths to launch his attack. Hundreds of bones started bursting through the ground. Arrrrrrrr. Naruto let out a mighty roar in his Kyuubi form. The bones were all shattered like simple twigs. Naruto coiled of his tails just above his mouth and red and blue chakra started gathering in the air. "What's he doing?" Kiba asked, slightly afraid. He never saw Naruto using the Kyuubi's chakra and the feeling he got from it didn't please him. "We need to move away," Hinata said. "Now," she yelled and everyone jumped away from the barrier. "Bijidama, Tailed Beast Bomb," Naruto said and sent the chakra ball towards Orochimaru. "Until we meet again, Naruto-kun," Orochimaru said and disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Damn it, he used the Gyaku Kuchios no Jutsu, reverse summoning technique, Naruto thought as the Bijou bomb connected with Kabuto and Kimimaro. Naruto instantly flashed out of the barrier and set up a earth barrier around his team. A very large explosion occurred in the field. The ground shook like an earthquake. The purple barrier couldn't stand a Bijidama and, as such, was destroyed along with Kabuto and Kimimaro. A large column of fire and smoke rose into the skies, enveloping everything in darkness. When everything had calmed down, Naruto looked towards the battlefield and saw no evidence of either Kabuto, Kimimaro, or any of the Sound Four. Naruto and his team had completed the mission with a few extra bonuses. They had retrieved Sasuke, who was now trapped inside Naruto's dimension. They killed 5 Sound Shinobi and they now know that Kabuto was still alive due to Orochimaru's using the Edo Tensei technique. Not a bad day in the end. That is all for this video. See you in the next one.